See, I have been for one itself that I just never did that completely added metro liners that here before as well, because that was too late to reviewing for this some kind of for the inner city 125 like whenever it is for just remodeled. Some trains are going to be remodeled or completely added something even new, because things are going to be turning everything into realistic forms around here. Well, look who's here! I just going to be seeing this a little bit further as well, and this is the remodeled version of the intercity 125. The intercity 125 had just completely remodeled, but the current number is absolutely 510, and there is 511 on the back. So we might able to be moving for around itself and into the station here before we got anything for one thing. But of course the intercity 125 is going to be moving along as well, so off to the station that I just going to be working around here. So the train is absolutely moving a little bit pretty slow, but going too fast could be leading to some kind of one thing as well. So the train is going to be on our way to the station, but the acceleration is absolutely getting even slightly faster as well, and then for some sort of like this as well. So this is where the video has been uploaded at the first day of April Fools. As the train continues to accelerate, it heads all over the uphill as well. Sometimes it's getting a little bit faster, but this is absolutely spells danger to get on speeds, as the train might absolutely going to be derailed that way. That would be necessary to give ourselves for another try, as the train might able to be reaching into the station and absolutely waiting for around 10 minutes that everybody is going to be getting on board with the intercity 125, as we're going to be hearing the two-tone horns, and that won't be necessary as well. So we might able to be stopping the train as well. So I wouldn't believe this is actually going to be for one interesting for a long time. So I have to stop the train just instantly as well, because my calculations of some sort of like these, it isn't going to be for just like this. So, and I never forgot to tell you about for something as well. Thanks to the power of performance, have just completely made changes like these things as well, according to some other kinds of this thing as well. So, my ability to be using for as the camera mode on, and so that the intercity 125 will be able to depart early. So not gonna be mean to get all the way to head on to the point B, and it won't be necessary as well that we're just going to be taking for a few like this. Sometimes the engine noises are loud, and after 10 minutes that everyone has been on board, I haven't able to click for some sort of lights, but decoupling it was probably a bad priority at this, for that I just completely made a bad decision. It takes for a whole summer without posting Roblox videos. Without further ado, we're going to be hearing this day, as the train is going to be departed really on our way. Well, that doesn't going to be familiar with this some sort of strategy, but there are no bells whatsoever, as trains are going to be continuing to move. So it looks like I better slow down before some sort of like those derails as well. But look how's here, the remodeled of the coaches of the intercity 125, and there is the back of it as well. And so the train is on our way to Creme Republic. And it's ridiculously loud as well. So I never believed that it's actually going to be for one itself. So I never going to believe what is going to be headed for until it's going to be headed around for to hit the disasters that we never able to be doing this as well. But I can't remember anything like this because sometimes that would be necessary as well. Some remodeled train cars have just completely going to be on their way, and so the train is hit around with 50% of minimal until the train is going to be so fast to be hitting speeds about over 100 miles an hour. We did not believe this is actually going to be for heading all over the way down the top side. But thanks to the patches that I remembered, was even some kind of loud itself for one thing. So I'll be setting to Doppler effects to somewhere as well. So let's hit it around 100% as well. But I cannot believe this is going to be for some sort of even louder, as I'm not going to be expected around here. So I might gotta be hit to 0 again until we hear the train horns as fast as possible. So I gotta slow down with it, and it won't be necessary to cause some disasters that I just remembered. And there it goes onto the surrounding hill. So look how the train, how long out the train is. No, that wasn't going to be for some sort of like this. I have talking a little bit longer since American Railways as well. So, since I have never seen here in this last video, it was a crowdfully for a less successful whenever that the intercity 125 is absolutely going for whenever it does. Sometimes that since before end of days of April Fools, my computer runs slightly even bad, and it's completely unplayable as well. I may hear intercity 125, and it's getting closer. That is absolutely what I just ever heard. And that I just remembered, I have turned the Dopplers off. So I better to slow the train down into some kind of a little bit for one thing. So let's hit a little bit slower until we are cross under the bridge. That won't be going to be necessary as well, as we're going to be hitting the speeds up to 100 miles an hour instead of 60 or 70 miles an hour. Or 125 miles an hour as well. Over 125 miles an hour, it wasn't going to be for such a thing as well. The diesel locomotives have just going to be for even faster, like whatever it does. Now, the performance for some sort of physics like this wasn't going to be for some sort of like this. I'm not going to be using for the weather and time. And somehow, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this train so much until that won't be necessary as always. The train will be arrived for somewhere over here, and it's going to be for some sort of like this. as we're hitting speeds for somewhere is going to be, well, so I'm just going to be walking around. We're just going to be hitting around for 40% per throttle, and looks like the train is hitting speeds. It's going to be hitting speeds for around here until we're absolutely reaching to the end of this some kind of strategy. That won't be possible as well. I'm never going to be seeing the train derail like this. Wait for it. And we're going to be hitting speeds for around this. And go! The speeds are going to be on our way to over 100%, as the train is going to be picked up speeds for this. So this is going to be for some sort of, like, it's absolutely too early. I mean, it's completely too late to accelerate the train completely. The train is going to be over a high speeds, and the rail car sounds are getting even louder. And we're definitely still using this train horn as we're reaching about for the station. Do you think that we're out of the grid map? And that must be the bridge is right overall, which means we're arriving at the city. I have to slow down as fast as possible before things might able to get worse. So let's slow down for this strategy, and that could not able to be necessary as well. So down to 25% of the throttle. So it looks like the train has just completely arrived already. So I better slow down for a little bit for one thing. So I just completely using for the helicopter's view as the train arrives already on time. But looks like exactly we're going to be choosing from as anyways. I'm not going to be too late for this. Let's hit around for the high-speed lane for just to do this as well. This for some sort of the intercity trains have just already arrived at the city, and this is not going to be where that is just going to be used to be. So the train has already arrived, and looks like we're going to be wrapped up for this situation after the train goes passing by. And boy, we're almost the end of this video. And we're going to be for the train to make it ourselves for a complete halt, as the video might able to end it right itself underway. Thankfully, I just complete stop at the train, and it's definitely a little bit fantastic around here for it to do this as well. So sometimes that wasn't going to be a little bit fantastic as well. So look out for some sort of detail as the train is, and thankfully that what is absolutely that you're going to be living in this thing as well. I'm probably sure this is not a living thing as well. So if you're gonna be loving this train out here, since throughout the world that no other kinds of the intercity 125 locomotives would ever exist in Great Britain today, that sometimes it was almost no longer existing for around here, including Australia, whatever, some other kinds of countries like here before, whatever that isn't going to be for some sort of like that way. So if you're ever going to be looking at this thing as well, if you find this, so don't worry, it's absolutely linked in the description of this game, and you're definitely right that I just never looking at this for so long as well, and that has been for a quite over the summer as well. Sometimes I'm not going to be finding out what is going on that after the summer ends, of course, that the April Fool's Days has just begun. Thanks for watching, for all your support, and I'm going to be signing off, and I'll talk to you Ralph fanners and mini lads all later. But one thing I never forgot that I just going to be saying, that won't believe that I just going to be, probably that I just won't able to be saying for this. So thanks again, and have a nice day.